everyone, and welcome to our Touch Base Thursday for August 26th. Welcome. I'm just going to give it a minute here for all of you to find me live before we go ahead and dive in and get started. And then I'm going to tell you guys all about my day today. So hopefully I'm on my A game for you all. So we're just going to give it a couple minutes here. Hi to Philomena. And I think Philomena is the first one in. Thank you, Philomena, for the share already. So keep those hellos and shares coming. Hi to Shireen and to Courtney. Hi, ladies. So, it actually feels good to be able to sit for a minute. My day today was very, very crazy busy. And I'm going to tell you about it here in just a little bit. Oh, yay, Pat, you found me live. Yay. So anyway, welcome. If you guys, I want to just tell you, if you see me moving a little slow today, moving my neck or my head, I do not have hickeys on my neck. I actually had some skin spots removed just at like 3:30 today. And so I've got some, you'll see some spots and things that from them removing those. So anyway, I'm a little slow moving. Didn't anticipate having all of that done today when I went for my doctor's appointment. So she kind of surprised me when she says, we're going to remove all of them. And so I had quite a few. They're actually skin tags. I have it's a hereditary thing in my family, but she removed actually 38 of them from my neck area. So I'm a little tender tonight. But here I am live with you all because that is just how I am. Actually, it doesn't hurt too bad actually, but I had to find a shirt that covered most of this up. So I want to apologize to you guys if I'm a little off my A game tonight, but that is why. So if you see things on my neck and you're like, oh my gosh, what is that? It's just she put some silver nitrate type stuff on it to keep it so that it wouldn't, keep it so it wouldn't bleed and to kind of protect it and stuff like that. So anyway, like I said, I knew we were going to remove a couple of them, but she did not tell me we were going to do all of the little ones that she found. So anyway, I'm a little tender in my neck area and it hurts to turn a little bit, but I'll be better tomorrow. So anyway, welcome to all of you. I've got some really beautiful cards. If you like rich cards, just elegant cards, then you're in for a treat tonight because what I'm going to be sharing is absolutely gorgeous. And I love what I paired together to share with you tonight. So I cannot wait for you guys to see that. So just a few things I have in the way of announcements. Oh, and thank you, Philomena. I will feel better, I'm sure. I already feel better. The first hour was tough. And I actually thought about, oh, will I be able to do my Facebook Live? I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. Like I said, had no idea that it would be this extensive of removal that she did. But anyway, so my kids started school. The girls started school this week. So freshman and 12th grade, which is just crazy when you think about it. But yeah, I've got a freshman and a senior. And what's even more crazy is that one drives the other one to school for me. So like, I don't have to do any of that morning commute anymore. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment for us. And next week, Natalie starts her college classes. So that'll also be another adjustment for her, but very excited for her. And then tonight, I just got home about 15 minutes ago from our the dance studio that the girls go to, relocated to a new building, and they did a remodel. And so tonight was the open house. So we went to see the new dance studio, and it's gorgeous and beautiful. So can't wait for them to get in there and dance. That starts this next week as well. And I'll be posting a picture for you guys to see. Her dance studio did like a senior wall in the alley. It kind of reminds me of like the Friends. But the senior wall, all of the dancers got to paint a brick with their name on it. So I took a picture of Natalie. She got to paint her little name on the brick. So I'll post a picture of that later for you guys to see. So it's kind of cool. But she had lots of fun with that. So I came home. They're still there. They're going to drive home later. It's like I'm getting used to this, them being able to come home on their own kind of thing. But yeah, so she's driving and taking them both to school for me. So that's been a nice little change for me in the mornings. I'm not having to get up quite as early to get my morning started. So anyway, that's pretty much all we've been having going on the last week. Last weekend I had Chloe, so I was a little bit more quiet on my Facebook group and stuff because we were busy with her and she was teething. So we had a cranky baby to contend with. But she's cutting her two of her teeth in the front. Hopefully she's gotten better. I haven't heard from Nicole the last couple days, my daughter-in-law, but we always enjoy our time with her, so that's kind of fun. So anyway, you guys know the routine, and if you don't, I'll mention it to you. If you share my video or share my video into your news feed, let people know about me, you get into the drawing to receive prizes. So the two prizes that I'm going to be drawing for tonight are those of you that shared my video last week. If you share it this week, those two winners will be announced. The two people I pick will be announced next week. So the two people this week for sharing, one of the prizes was let me see here, the metallic mesh ribbon, and this one goes to Marilyn Skorker. So congratulations to Marilyn. Woohoo! Okay, and then the winner of the Expressions in Ink Infuria pack goes to Carol Grove. So congratulations to Carol and to Marilyn. So congratulations, ladies. Woohoo! Okay. So any of you that maybe have joined me late, welcome. I'm going to say hi to a few of you, Karen and Janet and Lisa. So welcome to you all. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I had in the way of announcements. Oh, another neat thing that Natalie gets to do as a part of her senior year is she gets to get her own parking spot at the high school, and they get to paint it. So we're trying to come up with a neat little thing for her to paint it, like with her name in it and whatever. They get to paint the spot. So that's going to be kind of cool. I got to tell you though, I was kind of blah this week, and I know it's just because I'm, her senior year, and I'm feeling kind of over the whole thing, but I'm also excited for her and what lies ahead for her. But it's been a tough week, knowing that it was her first day of school. I mean, it was really kind of tough for me. So anyway, a few things that are upcoming for my classes and events. Online bingo is September 22nd, so make sure you sign up for that. It's actually called the Online Fun Party is what I advertise it as, just because I don't like to use the word bingo because sometimes Facebook can get a little funky with that. And then I want to make sure you guys know Celebration is in full swing. So any $50 order that you place now through September 30th, you get to pick a free Celebration item. That penguin paper I showcased a couple weeks ago, the deer paper last week's, all Celebration items. So make sure you get them while you can. And then if you are not currently taking advantage of the Stampin' Up! Discount and getting all your products 20% off, I encourage you to consider joining my Stampin' Up! Team of demonstrators or my team of hobby, wonderful people who love to buy Stampin' Up! Stuff, because you get a permanent 20% off. Actually, you can get up to 25% off of all your purchases that you buy from Stampin' Up! And so you also get different little perks from me and different events that I do and that I offer. And I even offer kits to go that are exclusive to my team, ship them right to you if you're long distance. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'd love to have you be part of my team. I'm looking for a few more members to join during Celebration, so I'd love to have you consider doing that. Open classes that I have right now is the Gingerbread and Peppermint Memories and More card class. I have the Whimsical Tree card class. And then October 2nd is National World Card Making Day. And for that day, I plan to offer a class over Zoom. And that class will be also a class kit to go. So if you're not wanting to watch it over Zoom, you don't have to. You can do it on your own with a PDF tutorial. But I'll be using the Strong of Heart stamp set. It's the beginnings of the new of the holiday catalog. It's the stamp set, like 2 or 3 pages in. It's got a big heart on it. It's called Strong of Heart, and I'll be focusing in on that with a couple of ribbons and some really pretty designer series paper. So that is one of the classes I'll be designing this weekend, actually, so you'll be able to see those projects. Anyway, that's what I have in the way of announcements. So with that, let me talk to you a little bit about the products that you're going to be seeing tonight. So I was thinking about taking it back to the annual catalog tonight. I know I mentioned Art and Bloom last week on my Facebook Live, but I need to get some designing done for some fall events and fall classes. And so I decided, why not share with you one of the classes that came to me. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes in the middle of the night I wake up, can't fall back to sleep, and then I start thinking about what would be a really cute class that I could design? I know, right? In the middle of the night, 2:30 in the morning. So I came up with this thought that I thought would be really pretty to pair together the Pretty Pumpkins bundle with the Blackberry Beauty Designer Series paper. And boy, did my projects and cards turn out beautiful. So I will, and I'm not just saying that because I created them, but you know how there's even like with me, there's certain cards that I even like better myself that I design, and this is one of the ones that I will say I am just in awe over. And it's a pairing that you might not have thought to put together, because usually when you think Pretty Pumpkins, you think, you know, orange and green and more of your fall tones. But I chose to use that really pretty rich Blackberry Bliss color, and I paired it with a couple other colors of cardstock, and all of my cards are designed using the same 3 colors of cardstock and the Blackberry Beauty Designer Series paper. So who's ready to see my projects? I know I'm ready to share them with you all. So anyway, well, Courtney, I'm glad I'm not the only one then. I'm serious. Like, I just, so silly, the things that I do. Okay, so with that, I'm going to transition my camera down to my stamp area, and I'm going to show you guys a little sneak peek of the product, or the projects. And I also want to make sure you guys know about my ordering promotion. So anybody who places a minimum $35 order now through Sunday night at 8 p.m., you will receive 3 of the cards that I'm showcasing tonight, plus the 3D project that I've created as well. So the 3D project won't be assembled. It'll all be there for you to be able to assemble on your own. But it'll all be, you know, cut and scored, ready. I just can't send it put together because it will like just totally get flattened on you in the mail. Okay, so with that, I'm going to transition my camera down and let you guys see what I've created for you. Okay, so tonight it was my husband who got me started. As I mentioned, my girls are both still at our dance studios open house. I was able to leave them there because they are driving themselves now. All right, you guys, what do you think of that little sneak peek? Aren't these projects gorgeous? All right, I'm going to move them out of the way so you can only see them for a couple minutes. And I need to get this other thing plugged in to my phone here so you guys can hear me. Bear with me. Okay, so didn't you guys think those were beautiful? Who liked the sneak peek? Wasn't the sneak peek amazing? Okay, I think so. They're some of my favorite projects. So let me share with you first of all what I used to make those cards. So I paired the Pretty Pumpkins. Oh yes, you need this designer series paper. Everyone needs the designer series paper. So I paired the Pretty Pumpkins bundle. Now this bundle is $45.75. You get the awesome stamp set, and it coordinates with these awesome dies down here. And I'm going to show them to you in more detail so you'll be able to see them. But I paired that bundle, again, $45.75. So you could add a pack of dimensionals, or you could even add the Blackberry Bliss paper onto it, and it would give you your $50 order to be able to get a free celebration project or product. And then you could also, let me find the paper here for you, and you'd be able to make these cards as well. And then here on this page you have the Blackberry, what is this called? Yeah, Blackberry Beauty. So Blackberry Beauty Designer Series paper right down here. And again, I'm going to show you that up close and personal as well so that you can see that in detail as well. This paper is $15, so it's a little bit more expensive than your regular Designer Series paper, but again, it's gorgeous. Catalog does not do it justice. And thank you, Philomena. Yeah, I went with some really glitter this time. Okay, so this is the bundle. Let me show you the stamp set and coordinating dies first. So here you have the stamp set, and then the coordinating detailed pumpkin dies. And these dies have some pretty awesome options to them. So the dies have, and again, they've been well used already. So you have this really pretty detailed one right here, and it actually, I have one here that I did in Blackberry Bliss to show you how beautiful that one cuts out. Can you guys see that okay? So you can kind of see the detail on that one. And then you have just a solid pumpkin right here. You have this one that does kind of a detailed pumpkin. And then you have all of these other ones in here that do all of the different images of the stamp set right here. And then this pumpkin right here will cut out this one. So that one is kind of stamped with the different leaves and things on it. Again, you're gonna see me how I use this in many different ways tonight on my cards and projects that I'm gonna be sharing with you here as we continue. So again, this bundle is only $45.75. And the next product that I'm going to share with you is the Designer Series paper. So the Blackberry Beauty paper was on back order for quite a while. And so we all had to patiently wait for it, but it was very well worth the wait. So the first one you have is this one right here. And it's got the gold to it. So it's kind of got, the colors in this is rich raspberry, gold, I forget them all, and I put the pack away. I only pulled out one of each of them. I think, oh, and it's got early espresso and cinnamon cider. So lots of different colors in it. This one I really like. Now, I did not use this one in my cards tonight, but this one is one of those, again, where you could cut it down the middle at 6, and you could have each of these be card panels or card layers. Because I was keeping my theme with just the Blackberry Bliss and rich raspberry color, I did not use that piece, but I did use the back of this one, and I used it in a really fun and unique way. And then you have this one right here. Now there is a bundle that coordinates with this paper, but again, I chose to use it with a different bundle. So I encourage you to kind of get creative sometimes and think outside of what Stampin' Up! Usually provides us of different ways that you can use the paper and bundles differently and pairing things together that maybe you normally wouldn't pair together. This piece right here is probably my favorite piece out of it. I love this one right here. It's so pretty. And then here you have this one on the back that is the like the cinnamon cider. This one, the gold, the leaves are kind of gold in there. Let me move that so you guys can see the gold flicker in there. And then you have this one right here. So the stamp set that goes with the beauty of the this paper has like owls and birds in it and stuff. So, but I chose to again to focus in on the other side when I was making these cards. So isn't that pretty? So hi to Peggy. I see Peggy just joined us. All right, so that is the Designer Series paper that I chose to use and pair it with. Now, all of my cards, I used 3 pieces of cardstock, or 3 different colors. So all of my cards tonight are using the vanilla, very vanilla, rich raspberry, and finally the Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so those are the 3 colors of cardstock that I used. Nothing else. Oh, and I used some gold foil and then the Designer Series paper. Nothing else was used on these cards other than that. Okay, so again, a little bit of a different approach than what I normally do, right? So let me find my very first card that we are going to make together. You're going to see again different ways in which I used this Designer Series paper to pair it together with this bundle to make these cards very rich and very unique looking. I think that they're gorgeous. The ribbon that I used is actually part of the bundle, part of the product or the product suite that goes with the Designer Series paper. This is the gold ribbon, and I love this ribbon because it goes and pairs together so nicely with what I did with these cards. So these cards are very rich, very elegant, again, a very unique way in which you can use that die and those stamp sets outside of just using it with your regular peaches and yellows and greens and orange and that kind of thing. Okay, so for this card, I chose to use the Blackberry Bliss as my card base. Oh, you guys are all so kind already. So this one I chose to use the Blackberry Bliss. And my inspiration for pairing these 2 colors together was actually this piece of Designer Series paper, because this piece of paper has both Blackberry Bliss and the rich raspberry in it. Then I have a piece of Very Vanilla that is cut 5 by 3 3/4, and then I chose the rich raspberry, and this one is cut 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then I believe this is cut 4 by 3, and then this one is cut a 1/4 of an inch smaller, so it is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And all I did is layer all of these together, but look at how rich that is just by layering them all together that way. So I'm just going to bring in my my seal, and we're just going to layer these cards together. My seal here is almost at its end, so I have another one sitting here, so I may have to take the time out to change it. I actually had my husband go over and get one before he went upstairs, because I was looking at that and went, oh, I'm close to the end. And I cut this at 5 by 3 3/4 so that I would have purposely a little bit more of a border around there so you could see more of that beautiful Blackberry Bliss color. And this is that paper that I mentioned you could cut and use as card layers and get 6 cards out of it. Maybe it's 8, I don't remember. But I chose to use the other side. And then this I put on with some dimensionals, again, to give it a little bit of lift. So I'm just going to add a dimensional to the 4 corners here. And then I used that really pretty decorative pumpkin that I showed you, and I cut it out with Very Vanilla. But look at that alone. Isn't the contrast of that just gorgeous? So here is the Very Vanilla, and I used some Tombow glue to be able to put this on. Hi, Beth. Nice to have you here, and I'm glad you were able to join. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to this in spots. You could also use your adhesive sheets. I just didn't. So I literally designed these cards, and again, I'm normally not a last minute person, but because I had my granddaughter this weekend, I designed these cards for you last night. I did one of them Monday night during my class, so anybody who was at my class on Monday, you guys got a little sneak peek of this. And then I finished them last night. So anyway, then what I did is I stamped the little vine with the little flower, and that is part of the stamp set. And then you have pieces, die pieces that you can cut out. So they're right here and right there. And I did this one right here. And then the only blends that I used on all of the cards, again, to keep with my color contrast, I used Mint Macaron and I used Rich Raspberry. And so I'm just going to color these. I think I used the light here, and I'm just going to color the leaves in with the light. And then I did take my dark Mint Macaron and I went back in and added kind of some dark on top of like the veins of the leaves. But these color up really quick and easy. So all I did is I stamped that in Memento black ink, and then I cut it through with my Stamp Emboss die cut machine, just to have that little bit done in advance. And then I'm just going to color it here. So far I'm just using my light blends. So this is the Rich Raspberry Light and the Mint Macaron Light. I'm just going to color that in. So far so good, right? And then I'm going to come back in with my dark, this is my dark Mint Macaron, and I'm just going to kind of go on top of those veins. So while I'm coloring, I got to tell you, most of you know I work at a university, and all of the students are coming back. So my work has been completely crazy. I was running around like literally like a chicken with my head cut off today, delivering different things to different offices. And tomorrow is going to be even worse. Monday's the first day of classes. As I mentioned, Natalie starts her college classes. So it just feels really good. Like, this is the first time I've actually been able to just sit. Other than my doctor's office getting all those things removed. But this is the first time I've been able to sit. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for joining me, because it feels really good to just sit and design and be in my happy place, because it has been one of those days today. Okay, and then I did adhere this down with some dimensionals. So I'm just going to put a couple dimensionals on there. So I'm going to put a couple here, one there and one here. And that's just going to go down on the pumpkin like that. And now this one, I did not add any kind of a sentiment to it, because I thought, you know, it didn't really need it. I thought it looked pretty just the way it is. And then I just tied a bow with my gold ribbon and adhered that to the top of the pumpkin. I'm just going to cut these at a little bit of an angle. And then I adhered that onto my card with a glue dot. I actually think I used a couple glue dots because this ribbon's a little bit thicker and I wanted it to stick really, really good. So I'm just off to the side right now, putting a couple glue dots right in the middle of my knot. And I'm just going to put that kind of a little bit at an angle onto my card like that. There you have my first card. Isn't that pretty? So pretty, using that color scheme. And that is the color scheme that I'm using on all of our cards and all of our projects for tonight. So again, any $35 order gets you 3 of the cards I'm featuring tonight, and the 3D project that I'll show you here in just a little bit. But I had to show you, I'm starting with the cards tonight, I think. So anyway, I hope you guys like that first one. Okay. So the next one I wanted to share with you, again, I wanted to use that detailed pumpkin, but I wanted to kind of expand the card a little bit more and make it a little bit more detailed by incorporating yet another pumpkin in it. So this is the card that I designed next, and I used, again, some more of that awesome designer series paper. I love that designer series paper. So let me bring in my card here. Again, on this one, for my card base, I chose to use the Blackberry Bliss. I just thought that paired nicely together with the piece of designer series paper that I chose to use right here. And then I have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4, very vanilla. And then this right here, I ran it through the embossing folder using the new, I think it's the Bark embossing folder. It's this one right here. And this is the first time I've used it on these cards tonight. And I just realized, you guys, I didn't show you what's up for grabs for sharing my video next week. So any of you that shared my video, as I put my embossing folder back, the 2 prizes are the brush metallic adhesive dots and the gold, the cherry cobbler and gold ribbon. So sorry guys, forgot about that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and adhere this down. Thank you, Carol. Like I said, when I was working with this Pretty Pumpkins bundle, I wanted to pair it with something totally unique and different. Didn't want it to just be regular pumpkins. I wanted something different. So as I was looking through the catalog, I thought, oh, that paper would be gorgeous. And I really like how they turned out. Just something a little bit different for the fall, other than actually like the fall colors. So then I have a piece of this designer series paper. It is 2 by 5 1/4, so it's going to span the full length of this this piece of very vanilla. And then I cut a little piece of a strip of gold. Now you could make this smaller. I'm just going to adhere this onto the back of there so I have a little bit hanging over. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive along the one end of this, and I'm just going to adhere this together like that. And then this is going to go onto my card. Now, if some of you are asking me if I'm going to be offering this as a class, I will be. It probably won't be until next month, or maybe even, I think I'm out. Yep, I'm out. It might not even be until the following month, I'm not sure, but this will be a class for any of you that are interested in, you know, getting a kit to go on this. Or if you're interested, like I said, in having a couple projects already done, where I just send them to you in the mail. That can happen easily with just a $35 order in conjunction with my Facebook Live tonight. You'll get 3 of them completed with my little 3D project as well. So lots of different options there. Okay, now I think we're going to be in business. There we go. And then this one's going to get adhered down to my card, and I have a little bit of that very vanilla showing. And then I cut 2 pieces of cardstock that are 1/4 inch difference in size. I believe this one is cut, let me see again. I had them all memorized in my head, but now of course I don't. So this one is cut 2 3/4 by, I think it's 4. What I did, I'll tell you what I did on this size. When I cut out the pumpkin, I actually measured the pumpkin and then cut the piece of the Blackberry Bliss to kind of coordinate with the pumpkin. So, and then from there, I just cut this piece 1/4 inch bigger. So again, just a little bit of a tip there. You know, you can always just measure this, and then you can kind of figure out what size you need to start with. I agree, Courtney. I like the gold too. I just thought the gold added to this, added a really nice little look. So we're going to add those 2 together, and then we're going to adhere this down to the card up here near the top. And again, I'm leaving my Very Vanilla border all the way around. So this I'm gonna go ahead and adhere down with some adhesive, again, using the Tombow glue. Again, you could use your adhesive sheets, you could use your fine tip glue. For purposes of making my video not take for 3 hours, I just use this sporadically just to get this glued in place so that you can kind of see the finished card. Then using that one die that I showed you earlier, I cut out the pumpkin using rich raspberry, and I liked the contrast of that. And we're going to put that on with the dimensional. Now, you could also cut a dimensional in half or use the minis on the other ones. I'm just going to use the one for right now. I'm going to stand up there. Hi, Nancy, and thank you so much. And hi to Lisa from Wisconsin. Thank you for joining. And then I added the cute little bow knots, or the little knots of this gold ribbon to the tops of both pumpkins. So we're just going to tie a little knot here. Whoops. Fat fingers. So I'm just going to tie a little knot here. And I'm not going to pull it too tight. And then we're just going to trim off the ends. And then that is going to get adhered down with a glue dot onto, oops, both little stems of my pumpkin. So there's one, and then here's two. And I'm just going to trim that one off as well. And I'm going to make this one a little bit tighter, fix it a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to cut that one a little bit shorter since this pumpkin's a little bit smaller and squattier. Okay, and then we're just going to add that to this one. And then I used some of the sentiments from the stamp set. Let me add one more little glue dot on there. So sometimes I find that you have to add more than one, just to kind of make sure it sticks really, really good. There we go. All right, and then I added the, if friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. Isn't that awesome? Now that is a sentiment from the Pretty Pumpkin stamp set. You got a couple here gathered together, so thankful for you. And if friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. And I did not stamp that in advance, so I'm gonna bring in my rich raspberry ink. I do have a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock that I have cut. This is cut 1 inch by I think about 2.5. And let's see here, there it is. If friends were pumpkins, like pumpkins, I'd pick you. And that's gonna fit on here perfectly. And then I cut a piece of the, which color did I do? Blackberry Bliss cardstock, 1/4 inch bigger, so that this is gonna fit on here perfectly. And then this I adhered on with some dimensionals to my card. So I'm just gonna put a couple, one on each end. And adhere that down here on the bottom. Ta-da! There you have card number 2 for tonight. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so moving right along. Maybe I'll go next to my 3D project so that we can at least get that done. If I don't get to all of my cards tonight, you can at least be able to see them. But I always like to have at least one 3D project. And so I decided to come up with some kind of a box. I was eating Jolly Rancher candy, and I decided to come up with a box for Jolly Rancher candy. Now this little box, I have my own little shreddy that I made using scraps of my crumb cake cardstock. I have a little hand shredder. But this little box I made all on my own and just decorated it up with some of the paper and a cute little pumpkin. So I'm going to give you the measurements for this. You could make this in whatever size you wanted, but I thought that how cute would that be if you wanted to put like other little candies and you know, things in it for, you know, open houses or things like that, just to have a little basket or a bucket to kind of put stuff in. So what I did on that is I started with a piece of 7.5 by 7.5 piece of Very Vanilla cardstock. So I already had that cut to 7.5 by 7.5, and then I scored this at 2 inches on all 4 sides. And again, this is just, I just pulled a measurement out of my head when I knew that I wanted to be able to add a piece of designer series paper to the sides. So I knew in order to add a piece of designer series paper, the score had to be big enough. If I would have only scored it at 1 inch, I would have only had 1 inch, and I wanted it big enough to be able to add a pumpkin. So I decided to try the 2 inch, and I was very happy with the size of it and with the amount of space that I had. So we're gonna go ahead and score this at 2 inches on all 4 sides. Man, I think every time I talk, I start to cough. I think I might just have it in my head that I think I have to cough. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm just gonna cut up the sides on this. Oh yeah, candy corn and peanuts would be great in this. I agree. I love that combination together, especially in the fall. It's a really good combination. So now I'm just gonna kind of miter cut the ends of these. This just makes it so that when I go to put the box together, I don't have overage on the top. And you'll see what I mean as we're going along and I put the box together. Most of you probably know what I'm talking about if you've seen me adhere a box together before. So I'm just gonna kind of do a little indenture here on these tabs. And then we're just going to simply put the box together. Nothing too fancy. And let me get that one off here. There we go. And then I'm just going to move all those out of the way. And now we're good to go ahead and fold all of these score lines. You could have scored it at first if you wanted to. I find it easier sometimes to do the cutting and all that first. So I'm just folding in on all of those score lines that I did at 2 inches. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and adhere our box together. So I always tell everybody, make a tent, and when you fold them all in, when you're trying to determine and remember where to put your adhesive, you make a tent. So you put your tent so that your adhesive doesn't get wet, right? So you make a tent, and then your adhesive's gonna go on those tabs. It's just a nice little rule of thumb so that you know where the adhesive goes. And then from there, you're going to put the tabs in. So see, by me cutting that little tab in, this is gonna line up very nice, and there's no overage on the top. It's all going to go together very nice. Just like that. So see those tabs, you have it all cut. So it all goes together really nice, quick, simple box. Then I cut 4 pieces of designer series paper. Now you could have picked any of the papers that you wanted out of there. I chose to do this little pattern that you're seeing right here. And then this is cut 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. So I did it 1 3/4 because this is a 2 inch score line, so that you'd have the 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And we're just gonna adhere this paper to all 4 panels. So it just kind of decorates the cute little box. So I'm just gonna add them around all 4. And then what I did is I cut a couple of pumpkins using the Blackberry Bliss. I used the little pumpkins and adhered them with dimensionals. Again, quick, simple, easy, but how fun would this be for little party favors if you're gonna have, you could even make it smaller. You could probably do it at 5 or at 6 or whatever, make it a little bit of a smaller box and make them individual to put at place settings for the holidays. Then I cut a couple of these pumpkins out. Now you could put one at all 4 of them. I decided to just put one at what I call at the front and the back. So I'm gonna put a dimensional here on each pumpkin. And I'm gonna put one here on the front. And then we'll call this the back. Usually I look at the box and determine what side's my favorite. And then I topped it off with a hunk of this ribbon. How about that, a hunk? A piece of this ribbon. I did the same thing. I tied a little knot to make a little, to put on the little stem of the pumpkin. So I'm just gonna make a knot, cut off the ends, and you have a cute little box. My glue dots, there they are. And there you have cute little box that you can put candies and things in. So I'll bring my sample back in. Like I said, you can see that I used mine to put Jolly Ranchers in because I was eating Jolly Ranchers while I was making my projects for all of you last night. So anyway, so yeah, isn't that cute? So cute. All right, so there's my little 3D project that I made to share with you all. Hope you liked it. It was inspired by Jolly Ranchers. All right, so my next card that I'm going to share with you, so again, they're all kind of themed with blackberry and rich raspberry, is this one right here. And here you can see I used the Designer Series paper. Hi, Kit, thanks for joining. And my sister Bonnie just joined us. This right here, I used the paper that I also just used on the box to make the cute little pumpkin. So for this one, I chose to use rich raspberry for my card base. Now I want to show you something neat that I did with this embossing folder because I'm not sure if you'll see it on the card, but you'll be able to see it when I showcase it for you. So I have a piece of the Very Vanilla that is cut 5 by 3 3/4, and then I have a piece of the rich raspberry that is cut 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to the direction of this. When I embossed this piece, I embossed it through my embossing folder like this so that the bark would run horizontally. No, sorry, I told you that wrong. So the bark would run vertically, right? Now, when I embossed, you can see here that this vanilla piece is also embossed. When I embossed the vanilla piece, I embossed it to run horizontally. So when this all gets adhered to the card, can you see the different texture that gave with one going vertical and one going horizontal? So it's another little technique and a way that you can use your embossing folders, the same one, to give you a different look on your card. Okay, so I encourage you guys to give that a try with different embossing folders because it's kind of neat the different looks that you can get simply by changing the direction of the way in which you emboss your cardstock. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and layer these two together, and then I put some of this ribbon right through the middle of that. So I'm going to put some ribbon through the middle. I'm just going to cut a piece big enough to go around that. And this time, instead of using glue dots, I'm just going to use my snail or seal. Again, just to save a little bit of time. I normally, as you know, use glue dots. Thank you, Philomena. But I'm looking at my time going, okay. Oops, there we go. Maybe my adhesive's deciding to give me grief. And then this is going to go on to my card base. And then I have a piece of this. This is cut 4 by 3, and then the Very Vanilla is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. So those are just going to get adhered together as well. So again, you'll see that this is a different texture look because I embossed it the opposite way. And then this gets adhered on. I did not use dimensionals on this one this time, but I could have. I just chose not to. And you'll see that little bit of ribbon peeking out there on both sides. Then I have 2 of these that you're gonna see here that I did. Now for these, I colored them the exact same way, so I'm gonna actually skip that step. But I just colored these and adhered them onto the bottom. Again, I used the same markers or the same blends that I did last time. I used the Mint Macaron Dark and Light and the Rich Raspberry Dark and Light. And then I adhered this on with a dimensional, added my ribbon at the top of the stem the same way, and then stamped my Gather Together on there for my card. So that is that one. So pretty. Can you guys see the texture difference on that? It's really pretty. I think it turned out really nice. Okay, so moving right along to my next card, because like I said, I've got so many to share with you. I got 2 more, so I'm gonna pick one of them to do. I'm gonna pick this one because there's not as much coloring to do. So I'm gonna share this one with you. So this one uses just that single stamp from the stamp set, that real pretty pumpkin with all of the leaves in it. And what I did is I used the designer series paper that I had left over from the, this is the last card that I created. So it was the designer's two pieces of designer paper that I hadn't used yet. I always try to use all of the different pieces from the pack when I'm creating my cards so I don't waste any of it. So that way when I'm prepping for a class, I've used all of the paper and you've gotten a little sampling of all of the paper in your cards. I know, kind of smart, right? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do a little bit of stamping. So my pieces here for the top, again, I measured this stamp to kind of get an idea for how big it was. But this piece right here is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and then this is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. So we are going to stamp that using the Rich Raspberry ink again, and I already have the stamp onto a block. So I'm just going to ink this up really good. And I'm going to stamp this on here like that. Again, look how pretty that is. Again, totally different look by incorporating these purple colors, the Rich Raspberry and the Blackberry Bliss, into using this bundle. Again, like I said, when I first came up with it, I went, I'm not sure if it's going to look okay. And it has become some of my favorite cards. So those two get layered together. And then we have a piece of the Blackberry Bliss that is my card base. Again, the contrast of the Blackberry Bliss with the Rich Raspberry, I absolutely loved. So, and then I had to pair it with the Very Vanilla. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. This is 5 by 3 3/4. So these two are just going to get adhered together. Thank you, Courtney. And welcome, Lori. Glad you are here. So sometimes I think when we're designing cards, we try to maybe get, I know I'm guilty of it, I try to get too complicated and try to do too much. And you can see sometimes you can do a lot with just like 2 or 3 colors and, you know, and just using the same ones and just kind of, oh, this adhesive, there we go. And that's kind of what I did and wanted to showcase for you tonight is how easy it is to be able to do that. Now this paper right here is cut 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. I had to think about that. And I'm just kind of adhering it down here to the top and the bottom. And that ribbon's going to go right down the middle of it. So I'm just going to cut a piece of ribbon big enough to go around there. Add a little bit of adhesive there. And glue this on. And then this whole piece is going to get put onto my card. Maybe. There we go. Like that. And then this piece gets put on with dimensionals. Let me find those again. Thank you, Kathy. I think they are too. Very elegant. And that's was kind of what I was looking for when I was working with them. And I don't think I have a favorite. I kind of like all of them. I don't know, I just do. And this goes on here near the top. And then I stamped the Gather Together on here. Let me see if I have my piece for that. I may not have cut a piece for that. And that's what I get for designing these and cutting them. Oh, I do, but it's going to be too short. Maybe not. I mean, not too wide, but we're gonna give it a shot. So Gather Together is what I put on here. And hi to Marilyn. If Marilyn just joined us, Marilyn, you are one of the winners this week for sharing. So congratulations to Marilyn. So there's the Gather Together. Might be a little crooked, but it's okay. And we're going to cut that excess off. Put that on with a couple of dimensionals. And then again, I topped that off. As you can tell, I had a real issue or a real liking to putting the little knot on the pumpkins. I just thought that added a nice little touch to it. So I'm going to put the little knot on here and trim off my ends. I like to twist this so that it lays flat. Cut off my ends and adhere that with a glue dot. there you have it. Now this would also look pretty with some Wink of Stella on there if you wanted to. You know, yeah, it would look really nice too. Okay, so let me show you my final card. I think we're got time to finish it. And then I'll bring them all back in for any of you who may have missed the first couple that I did, because I did 4 so far. This is the last one, and probably, I don't know, one of maybe my favorite. I don't know. They're all my favorites. I always say that, but this one's probably one of my favorites. So this one, it uses that designer series paper that was probably one of my favorite designer series papers out of that pack. How pretty that is. So for this, I used the Rich Raspberry for my card base. Again, I used, pairing it, again, 3 colors of cardstock for all these cards. Rich Raspberry, Blackberry Bliss, and Very Vanilla. So here we have these 2 layers that go together. So let's get those glued down. Oh, gold matte dots would look really really nice too, Courtney. Yes, they would. And I could still add some of those to these cards. That would look pretty. And then this is going to get adhered down to the card. Thank you, Beth. Yeah, as I was designing these last night, I was pretty impressed with myself. Like, I was so looking forward to tonight's Facebook Live all day. No joke. Okay, and then I did my normal designer series paper, and I paired it with the gold foil. So yeah, those are the 4 things I used. I used Blackberry Bliss cardstock. I used Blackberry Bliss, Very Vanilla, Rich Raspberry, Blackberry Beauty paper, and the gold. That's it. That's all I used. So, I don't know. I think that they turned out nice. And this right here is so pretty together. That just pulls that together so nice. They look, yes, don't they look good with my nails? I agree. My nails are a little, when my nail tech told me I was getting glitter, I went, okay. I didn't realize that he meant like all of them glitter, but I like them. I do. All right, and then what I did is I stamped out 4 of these. So these, again, I just colored with those same marker, or the same blends. I keep calling them markers, but you guys know what I mean. Same blends. Put them on there like that. And then I cut a piece of 1.5 by, I think it's 2 cardstock. Again, I measured my piece of, or my, measured my stamp. So this is, again, one of the stamps from the stamp of the Pretty Pumpkins. And so I'm going to stamp the So Thankful for You on here. And it fit perfect. And then that went on in the middle of my card with some dimensionals. Pull those off. So I'm just going to put a couple on here. I'm sure I put 4, but to save a little time, I'm just going to put 2 on there. And then after I colored these, I put them on around the outer edge. Okay, so you guys kind of have an idea. Topped it off with a bow. Voila. So let me bring in all of my projects for tonight so that you guys can see all of them again. So this one right here is the last one that I showcased. And then we have this beautiful one right here. Then we have this one right here. Oops, and I'm losing some of the pieces because I didn't finish that one on my live with you tonight. Got to finish that one later. And then we have this one. And finally, we have that one. So those are the 5 cards that I showcased. So all of those sentiments, Marilyn, come from the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set. And this is the stamp set that I featured on all of my projects tonight. And it pairs together with the Detailed Pumpkins dies. The bundle is $45.75 in the catalog. And then I paired it with the Blackberry Beauty Designer Series paper. And then my 3D project was this adorable little box that I created where I had Jolly Ranchers in it. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed my Facebook Live for tonight. Now again, anyone who puts in a minimum $35 order, you will receive 3 of the, here's my Jolly Ranchers. I was eating these while I was designing, so that's where I got the inspiration to make a box to hold them. But anybody who puts in a minimum $35 order now through Sunday night will receive 3 of these handmade cards in the mail. You'll also receive the supplies to make the box. The box will not be assembled. You'll have to do the cutting. I mean, it'll all be scored and ready, but I can't mail it this way, or you'll have a flat box. This will also be a class that I will be offering probably, I want to say it's maybe not until middle to end of September, I think. I'll have to look at it. It's on the calendar already, but I just don't know off the top of my head when it is. So thank you all so very much for joining me tonight. I hope that you all get creative as well with pairing bundles with paper that maybe you wouldn't normally pair it with, and picking out some cardstock that you think would, that might make it look a little bit unique and different. So I hope that you all enjoyed my Facebook Live tonight. And I look forward to having you all back here next week for more wonderful projects. I don't even know what I have on the docket for next week, but I'm sure I'll let you know through my Facebook posts. And thank you, Nancy. You're so sweet. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, everyone. So with that, I'm going to sign off and let you guys have the rest of your night back. Have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all again here next Thursday night. Bye, everyone.